Okay, so good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the next of our PA Forum interview series, where we are delighted to be speaking to Bethan today, who was one of our finalists in the CSR category at the West Midlands PA Awards this year. The CSR supporters group has been going now for over a year, and that's very much thanks to Sarah James, who is incredibly passionate about CSR, and her passion literally runs through the veins of all of us, and we absolutely love everything that she's doing to try and keep CSR at the forefront of all the minds of things that we're doing every day. So thank you so much for joining us, Bethan. It's lovely to see you. Sarah, thank you so much for organising these sessions. We're really grateful. This session will be featured on the PA Forum YouTube channel and will be shared with our membership and anyone who is happy to watch it. Bethan has kindly agreed to that today, so thank you so much for that. And yeah, Sarah, thanks for coming. Why were these sessions important for you personally to organise?
Yeah, so I think there's lots of information and things that we just want to share as part of that CSR supporters group. And I was really privileged to be on the interview panel for the West Midlands Awards for the CSR Champion of the Year 2023. And Bethan, congratulations on being a finalist. And it was great as part of that interview experience, and I encourage everyone to kind of put themselves forwards for kind of the process. But there's a written application that goes with that. There's then the interviews when they're actually meeting the judges, and it was great to hear from all the different the finalists that we had and their kind of passion for CSR, all their kind of activities and projects that they work on. And I thought, actually, we can't just keep this to ourselves and the process of the interviews. We want to be able to share that with the CSR supporters and the PA Forum members that are quite interested in this as a category and kind of challenge for things that they're doing in their roles as well. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. And I think so. This is the first of our series of interviews, which is great. And I know Bethan, when you were sharing her biography almost of all the things that she's been doing, a range of different things. But Bethan, actually, in the daytime, I know Sarah's gonna do a proper introduction now, but you know, in your normal day job, that's not what your full-time role is. So I'll hand over to Sarah for the rest of this and I'll chip in whenever, but thanks so much, everybody.
Brilliant, thank you. So yeah, I'm really grateful for Bethan to kind of give her time up to be able to come and talk to us all. And as Dad kind of said, it's like Bethan actually has a day job as a practice administrator at Alvarez and Marsal. So we're really we want to understand your kind of career, a little bit about what that day job looks like, Bethan, and then we can kind of hear about all the exciting projects and initiatives that you've been running, that you kind of talk to us as part of that interview for your CSR Champion of the Year.
Sure. Well, firstly, thank you very much for inviting me. It's lovely to speak to, as I like to say, preaching to the converted is always a joy. We know in this sort of role with CSR, it's quite often that you're having to knock on the door of people that aren't quite there yet. So this is a joy. But yes, you're absolutely right. This is not my day job at all. My day job is a practice administrator. Now, what is a practice administrator is a very good question. Even within A&M, so I work for Alvarez and Marsal, it doesn't necessarily mean the same thing across the board. So for me, I work for disputes and investigations, which can and can't be quite exciting. I work for several managing directors, so there's a certain amount of EA work, as you'd expect, but also it's about kind of client take-on to client projects, going through the various stages of what you have to do to bring them on, getting involved with invoicing, billing, that kind of thing. Things that I'm sure everyone here has heard before. I love my team, which always makes a huge difference. Certainly when you're supporting them, you care and want to make their diary easier if you like them. It's quite easy to stick in a horrible meeting if you don't. So, as we all know, do not annoy support staff ever. But definitely the CSR is where my passion is. I am incredibly lucky that my team support me 100% in everything that I do. They realise the benefit that Alvarez and Marsal are both disputes and investigation and Alvarez and Marsal get from someone taking this seriously. I'm not the only person in my team. The co-chair of the EMEA Women's Network is a managing director within disputes investigations. The co-chair of the IME, which is our LGBT plus, sits within disputes and investigations as well. So they really do know that this is something that matters, which helps me out a lot because I do a lot of stuff on top of my day job. So I'm not going to lie to you, it creeps in on working hours, but they're fine with it.
I think that kind of like alludes really, Bethan, to the kind of like you're ideally placed within your organisation as a support role. And we talk about a lot with the PA network and the different members that are on this call that we're actually ideally placed as a support role because we're supporting them, we're talking to the right people, we're building those connections and those networks that then we can align to the right people in the business to make things happen. And I think as much as you're kind of saying that you've got the team, it's having the right team around you, the right support to be able to kind of lead and have those initiatives. And that was very much what you were talking about, having the initiative and the support to do some of the projects that you got involved in.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. I mean, one of the things that I really love about Alvarez and Marsal is that if you want to do something, you're given that opportunity to do it. You know, it's not, oh, well, you're support staff. So, I mean, I've worked in this industry a really long time and it's changed a lot. So I'm going to be a bit naughty with some of the references that I make because that's definitely more old days than it was now. But, you know, you're not stuck in a box. You want to do something, you go and flip and do it. And I will come on to this later, but one of the things I decided that we needed was Inclusive Diversity Week, looking at inclusive diversity, and went and spoke to an MD and said, hey, listen, we need to do this, and their response was, great, go and do it.
Yeah
and you're just free to go and do it, and that really helps. But I think what we can do as support staff, which is so great, is that a lot of the CSR initiatives that are run within companies are grassroots and they're voluntary. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, they have a client come in or they have a big project come in, and all of that time that they've been putting towards furthering their journey just has to stop because they have to do their day job. The thing that we can do is be that consistency. We can make sure that it doesn't stall completely. We can keep things going. And I think that's why it's so important for support staff to get involved, because we can juggle a million things at the same time. We already know we're brilliant, but it just means it doesn't stop with them. It never has to stop with them. We can keep going. And as you say, the connections that we make, I mean, come on. I love coming into the office, mainly because all the girls I get to chat to in the loo, connections there, the lift, when I'm making a cup of tea. I mean, who cares about meetings? They're the ones that really matter, because then you have that other conversation and you go, I know someone, we had this conversation the other day in the loo about something that would actually really help you out with this initiative. Let me connect you.
Yeah, and I think that's great. So a lot of the people that are on the call, and we've had various different CSR supporters sessions, you know, where do we start with our CSR policy? Where do we start with initiatives and awareness days? And how do we implement these things? So it's about trying to empower some of the people that are actually on the call. And I absolutely loved your passion and enthusiasm for the subject, and just you as a character to be able to talk about the projects that you got involved in. So kind of give us your bit of insight of like, what's the master plan to kind of get these things going and these initiatives, because it'd be great to hear that.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's just tenacity. It's going, this is missing and this is what I'm going to do about it. There's no, you don't ask, can I? You just say, this is what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And then, as I said, it's tenacity. So an example, when I joined IME, the LGBT plus group, I was actually asked to join it, and there were only 4 people in LGBT plus. Now, statistically, we're still a bit low if you look at the ONS for how many people should be part of it, but 4 is faintly ridiculous. So they had, the 2 co-chairs had got to the point where like, what's the point? We may as well give up.
Was this about 18 months ago? Sorry, Bethan.
Yeah. Exactly that. Exactly that. And so I was like, we just need to get in front of people. And so we contacted every team within A&M across the EMEA as well, so countries as well. So we want 5 minutes in your team meeting. We want 5 minutes to introduce ourselves because we don't think people know that we're around. And they don't know we exist. And that's what we did. And when people ignored us, because of course their agenda is rammed anyway with uber important business stuff, we just kept going, oh, that's a shame. That's all right. I'll remember for next time. And I contacted them again. And I said, oh yeah, we slipped off. Can we come on this time? So we went round and we spoke to everyone. Only 5 minutes. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. We are open. And most of the time it's because people think, well, I'm not LGBT plus, so I don't need to join that. Well, no, it's open to allies. So it's just getting that across, just getting the message across, repeating yourself over and over again, and having ambition. So on that first meeting, when I said, no, don't give up yet. Just give me some time. Let's see how we can grow this. So this time next year, in the summer, we're going to go to Pride. We're going to go to London Pride. And they both thought I was crazy, which is an opinion that quite a few people have of me when they first meet me. So I'm fine with it. And blow me down if we weren't at London Pride that summer with 50 members. So we grew from 4 to 50 members. And that was purely from turning up at meetings, making sure that people were there, making sure communications came out. I had things on tables saying we're going to Pride. Everyone, hurrah, and it was in bright, colourful colours and, just getting it out there over and over again. I didn't want the excuse that no one knew that we were going. And it was the first time that Alvarez and Marsal had ever been to a Pride parade anywhere globally. And we are a global firm. So it was a first for A&M, and that was just sheer tenacity. That was it. Determined to do it. And now I think we're on about 60 members. We went to Pride again this year. We went to Pride in London, and we also went to Munich Pride as well. So it's just about each year, how can we grow a little bit more? How can we grow a little bit more? But it's the same, I'm still contacting people saying, can we come to your meeting? Can I do 5 minutes? Can I just get the multicultural network in and do 5 minutes at your meeting? Bore people to bits.
But I think that was great, that kind of initiative of getting to the meetings. It's about talking to the people. You find those alignments, those passions, and it's being able to then take that enthusiasm to be able to grow the committee like you did from like the 4 members that it initially started, that actually this is a failing campaign and how do we kind of get the momentum going to this, to actually having 50 members that's growing. It is just absolutely amazing. So having those kind of meetings, joining those kind of team meetings, what was that kind of the next stages? Because it's all well and good, and I think we've probably all been in those meetings where we've taken notes and you've got all these action lists, but then it's like, right, we've now actually got to do something. We've got to implement this plan, and we've got to do different targeted events and activities. So talk us around some of those things that you did and planned.
So first things first, keep it simple. Really, really keep it simple. I mean, when I said about Pride, I was like, we're going to get all of the managing directors on a float singing. It's going to be wonderful. I mean, obviously it was slightly tongue in cheek, but let's actually get 10 people to walk in Pride with us. Let's rein it in. See what you can actually achieve. There's no point having a massive long list of things that you want to do and doing your event and putting all of that work into it. And then only 3 people turn up, and it's your mate that's sat over there and some other person that you met. It's soul destroying, and it stops you from doing anything. So the most important point is, great that you've got this list, but make sure that you can actually achieve what you've got on that list. And then it's just about, you've grown the network. It's making everyone understand that they have their play and that you want volunteers. You need people to come and help do it. But also knowing that you are going to do the majority of the work. Okay.
Yeah, it's completely true. You've got your bank of volunteers, and don't get me wrong, everyone gets involved, but yeah, you've got your key people, so it's about how do you get those others involved as well.
Exactly, and it's only, you know, we did Pride takes out. I'm staying with LGBT plus for a while.
Yep.
I am part of all of them, but I'll get onto them.
Yep.
We did Pride takes over the London office, and that was a small event that we did just to show how pleased we were. And I decorated the London office in with loads of rainbows, and we kept it really simple. We had cakes, we had fizz, we had music, and we had Skittles, and I even bought some rainbow paints that you could put on, you know, and some tattoos and things. But you know, just come down, have a piece of cake, celebrate with us that we're going to Pride. That was it. And then this year I had, are we going to, are you doing the Pride in London this year? Last year, I mean, obviously lockdown, blah, 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 blah. But I bought so many cakes. My children were up for about 4 weeks afterwards because they were just eating cakes every single night.
And the Skittles.
Skittles didn't even come home. I'm not that stupid. But for this year, we ran out of cake within an hour. Because and I'd bought more than I had the year before because everyone had heard about it. Oh, I remember that was a real giggle last year. Let's come down. So I would say do not get discouraged if the first time you do it, there's not as many people as you'd want, because word does travel.
Yeah.
Don't be discouraged if you're sending something out and no one reads it. Just keep going. It is. I disagree. People say, oh, you need a thick skin. I disagree. It's not a thick skin. You need to just really, really care. Because if you really, really care, you will get up, dust yourself off and get on with it. If you had a thick skin, you wouldn't care so much, right? So for me, it's not about grow a thick skin and don't worry about it. It's about, do you know what? That didn't work.
Yeah.
Next. But take that moment to feel a bit sad about it. That's okay too. I've had times where I'm like, I was really proud of that and no one came. Have that moment.
And I think so, like, you know, you've got the committee members, you've got like the attendance at the events that you're running and things. And it was great that you were actually put forward and nominated for the CSR Champion of the Year. So, you know, take that kind of recognition that people are seeing that you're doing a great job. So from the kind of the stakeholders' point of view, what's their kind of feedback been and that kind of motivation to kind of support you in what you're doing? Because like we said at the beginning of the call, this isn't the day job, and it's like, how do you find time to kind of do that as well? So it's like, what's that kind of support from the stakeholders as well?
I mean, they're brilliant. So as I said before, as I alluded to, I'm part of all of the employee resource groups at Alvarez and Marsal, and really my role is to help support them to keep everything that they want to do going. They're all very important client-facing, money-earning people. They pay my wage, so I understand that they're going to drop off the face of the earth. So it is just about having that consistent support, reminding them, doing the grunt work, you know. I can book a room for that. I can book catering for that. I can do, you know, stuff that we do in our everyday anyway. It takes us all of 5 minutes. For some unknown reason, it will take other people hours. So, you know, it's getting all of the easy bits out of the way. Stakeholders are brilliant. So all of our co-chairs call me their COO. I'm the COO of all of the employee resource groups. Obviously, I'm going to get business cards made. And then how we also structure it within Alvarez and Marsal is that we have the Inclusive Diversity Office. Now, the Inclusive Diversity Office basically looks at inclusive diversity across EMEA A&M at an A&M wide level. And that's run by 2 incredibly busy managing directors, both female. One of them is also an SBU head as well. A business unit head. So, I mean, like, trying to get even 2 minutes in their diary is impossible. So that actually means that they appreciate even more what it is that you're doing, because they do realise most of the time that that you are the one that's keeping the cogs going, keeping the wheels turning, and also it's not being afraid to question them, right? The thing is with CSR, it's a continuous journey. I said this earlier to Daniel and Sarah. It's not like, yep, completed it, done, tick, let's move on. There's no silver bullet. There's no ending to this. So we're all learning together. So they're not there sitting there going, oh, well, we're experts because we're managing directors in our various business things, day jobs. So we know what you're doing, and we know that you're getting it wrong. It's about questioning them, having the tenacity, let's use that word, sorry, to question them. Yeah, thank you. To actually be, if you disagree, tell them you disagree. They might not listen to you, and so be it. But you're not going to sit there. It's really hard to push something forward if you don't believe in it wholeheartedly. So you've just got to be brave. You've got to be brave and say, I just want to question why we're doing that. Why is it? Why do you think that's important? You also remember that your ear is to the ground a lot more than theirs. Theirs is listening to God, and ours is down with the people. So we know what's going to hit better with our staff. But having said that, they are, I'm very lucky. They all absolutely appreciate everything that I do and know how important, I hear it quite often. Oh God, if you weren't helping us right now, that would be it. We wouldn't be doing it anymore.
Yeah. And I think that you are the right person, that business support role to get things done. You are proactive in the day job, and it's all well and good having these big meetings and saying, yeah, we're going to do this and this is the plan, but someone's got to execute that plan and got to deliver on it. So yeah, complete hands up, Bethan. It's you completely with the interview, you just blew me away with everything that you've done. So it's that and this isn't the number of projects and initiatives, and I think actually what they've recognized in you is that you are the person that gets things done. So considering we only had a 15-minute interview, there was so much that you could have talked about, and it was briefly a one-liner in the application, or just and I did International Women's Day, and I did all the diversity and inclusion groups and events and things. So talk to us. We've got more time than 15 minutes, as I said to you. So talk to us about some of those other initiatives, because you did so much and have covered so much that you really should be proud of.
Yeah. Oh God, this is very un-British though, Sarah. Come on now. So yes, International Women's Day. Basically, what happens is that someone will say, "Oh, I think we should do something for this," and I say, "Okay, yes, we should. Here's the ideas. Here's the speakers. Here's here's the comms. Here's the invite. Here's the guest speaker that I've got in." It tends to be what happens, if I'm completely honest. Here's the other stakeholders that we need to get involved. Here's how I've told off the very important MD for letting us down in the last minute. You just gotta. So you're right. I did coordinate International Women's Day with our Women's Network, who are brilliant and do a lot of events. My dream, oh God, this is a big one. My dream for next year is that, as we are an international firm, we actually make it International Women's Day. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? So fingers crossed for that. I don't know why I would want to take on more coordination with lots of different time difference, but that's the dream for this year. Also for the Multicultural Network as well, we ran various events kind of showing the importance of it's small things like getting someone's name right. So we did this whole session. It was a really, really good session. Oh, I thought it was a really good session, and they touched on some really simple things like ask how to pronounce the name. I mean, I get it with Bethan quite often. I get Beth or whatever, or Bethan, and it's written in a weird way. It's not exclusive. So, checking how you say a name, not always going out for drinks. I am definitely guilty of this. I'm an absolute booze hound. And now that I have children, any opportunity is an out. So I am definitely guilty of that. Not questioning when people aren't drinking. I'm drinking tonight. You normally fancy a few. Shut up. That sort of thing. But just trying to get the education out there. So a lot of it is trying to sorry, let me start that again. With the education piece, there's two ways. So we write a lot of articles, we try and get people to know about things that way, but actually it's people's personal stories that always hit home more. We all know that. So if you hear someone talking about things that you think would be good, do a lunch and learn. Our lunch and learn series, which is another thing I started, our Lunch and Learn series that we did with either guests that we have through internal networks, but also our people talking about what it's like, you know, a day in a life in other people's shoes. That hits home so much more than reading something or having a guest speaker come in. I mean, guest speakers are brilliant, don't get me wrong, but actually hearing from someone that works in your department and talks about it. So yeah, the series of Lunch and Learns, that's another one that I would thoroughly recommend. Again, they can be recorded, people can watch them at their own time, but actually it always lands really, really well. Talking about experiences, parents, carers, that's another group that started, hearing about, you know, parents juggling, all the rest, you know, it's just astounding. What else? So the thing that I'm probably most proud about getting us into Pride. And actually the lovely Vivi's online here, so she's going to go, oi, mate, I helped to do that. So shout out to Vivi, because she definitely did help me do that as well. Sorry, Vivi. But the thing that I did was this Inclusive Diversity Week. Now, as I said, I decided that we needed to have an Inclusive Diversity Week, you know, a learning week. It would be a really good opportunity for each of the, thanks, Vivi, each of the employee resource groups to introduce themselves. So again, tried to start it really simply. We've got 5 days, we've got 5 employee resource groups. So we had, each of them did one session on the day. Again, a lunchtime session. They either chose to get a guest speaker in. So the Women's Network, for example, got an author in to speak about equality and why it's not just a woman's problem. Yeah. Very good. LGBT plus, we talked about the importance of allyship, and one of the co-chairs, Jenny Fountain, the wonderful Jenny Fountain, spoke to us about allyship, but it was really around the ERGs trying to get what's really important to them across, what's going to make them easier for them. Why are we talking about it at work? Why are we talking about Eid at work? Why are we talking about Ramadan at work? Why is it important to know about this kind of stuff? And it started, you know, and when I say I did it all, I really did think that I might get some help. So it was all of the comms. It was arranging all of the speakers, all of the panels. We had an external film crew that came in. It was making sure they came in. You know, it was literally everything for that entire week. It nearly broke me, but it was definitely worth it. It felt great. Yeah. Actually, do you know what? That's a lie. And I am going to tell you this. After that week, I did a bit of a slump. I'm not going to lie to you, because it's so much work. And I think this is what we need to be wary of. Don't think because you're having I can't do this anymore, I can't keep walking uphill the whole time. And that's what CSR is. Let's face it, it's walking uphill the whole time, because it's a continuous journey. It's allowing you that moment. That's absolutely fine. So I took a week. I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm sure you guys must have it after the PA. It's like, I just don't. No one even say PA to me. No one. You just need that moment of like, and then you can get up and do it again. So we did it again this year, because I'm a glutton for punishment. Luckily, I had millions of people help me this year. No, I didn't. It was me again. So again, it was all of the comms. It was making sure that all of the employee resource groups knew what they were doing for their session, chasing speakers, making sure they had speaker notes, making sure that they had sessions with whoever it was beforehand so they knew what they were talking about, trying to get it advertised, trying to make sure that our managing directors turned up. Mm-hmm. That's half the battle, is just getting people to turn up. Clearly you've guessed by this, I have no qualms with telling important people that they're getting it wrong. So I would just march into an office and go, oi.
Bethan, do you mind? Can I ask?
Go on.
You mentioned you did all that work and then you did it all over again this year.
Yeah.
But when you say, about having help and support around you, is that is that because people have lots of different commitments, they might be part of all different types of groups already, and you feel guilty for asking them? Or is it because you feel like, will they have the time to help and support, or how have
Yeah,
you asked them?
you are absolutely right, because I think I'm guilty, as in probably most of us are, of going, well, it's my job to sort it all out. It's hard to establish where the pull comes from. So when I say I did it all again, I coordinated the week. What I did do this year, which I was much better at, was making sure that within each of the sessions, for most of them, there was support within that employee resource group. Excuse me. So, for example, for the multicultural network, they had internal volunteers within that network that were helping to do the session. So it wasn't just down to me, or one other person from there. Don't get me wrong. The employee resource groups have helped with their own sessions completely. But you have to do that, like, nudge. Have you sent the notes? Have you done this? So I've really tried to hand over. I'll be honest with you, Daniel, it's my baby. I want everyone to think it's beautiful. So I'm a little bit wary of giving it to someone else in case they ugly it up. So that's on me. That is on me. Absolutely.
No, the only reason I ask you is because somebody said to me, the other week, they said you don't let go of stuff, and I was like, well, I think I do. No, you don't. So that's the reason I was asking, because I just feel like ever since, the P word, ever since we came back out of lockdown and everything, the world has changed so much. The world of business has changed so much. These amazing groups that have been formed inside organizations to really help and educate people is amazing. But the world is also 10 million times busier, and it's that guilt of asking people to support or do more, or when you feel like they're already doing absolutely everything they possibly can already. And then I'm just wondering how that kind of reflects on you then.
And you are absolutely right. They are already volunteering to do anything to within of their employee resource groups anyway, right? And we're all really time poor, and there's also, to be completely honest with you, there is an absolute element of, you could get that phone call from the client and you're just going to have to drop out of this, so I need to understand what's going on anyway. And I could send the email, or I could get you to send the email. I've got better though I'm trying, that's not true. I'm trying to get better at realizing that my vision is not the only vision, right? So I do not own this, it is not mine. And actually, if it's not quite what you wanted, it doesn't matter. That's okay. It's good. It's them. It's theirs. And it should be theirs. It's not mine. It's not mine. I'm saying, I'm giving you the opportunity to speak and to have this voice. But actually, if you could just repeat everything I say, that would be wonderful. That's not, that doesn't work. So, you are right. It's difficult to give up control. It's difficult to give up control or ask people to do things when they are, how busy.
I just wondered how you balance your energy, your passion, and your drive to do it.
Yeah.
Also try, and then thinking, oh, do I ask? Do I not ask? Or can I get any more help? Can I not get any more help? How does it work? Like, I just wanted to see how you balance that as well. But
I ask. I still ask. I still throw it out there, and certainly within the multicultural network, we have got some juniors, and this is what we're finding as well, right? For ancient people like myself, it's a nice to have, but for generations that are coming into work now, it's an absolute. Diversity, CSR, it's an absolute. It has to happen. So we're finding that actually, the people that are coming in now are much more willing to put their hand up and help. So for some of the multicultural network events, I didn't make the poster. Someone else did it. Someone else even put it up. you know,
Yeah.
they're starting to wrestle it off me, which is great, So
Yeah.
so then you can stand back and go, okay, yes, you're right. I'm the support, I'm not the doer. So I will do it if you've got no one else to do it because it needs to get done. That's basically our day-to-day, right? But actually, you can do it. You can do it.
And I think that's having those people that are in a creative role that you can lean on their expertise as well. And I'm completely with you. It's like if I ever come up with like suggestions or a charity day or a CSR activity, it's like, one, I'm the first one there and the last to leave. I'm doing all the comms around it and just checking that everything's done, because it is your project, it is your baby, and you just want to make sure it succeeds so then you can do it again.
Yeah.
And I was just going to pick up on what you just said about actually the importance for businesses, because we're seeing it a lot across all sectors. And I'm sure everyone on this call is kind of, you're seeing about CSR activities, you're seeing about diversity, equality and inclusion, you're seeing around sustainability, ESG, carbon footprint. There's just so much now that we need to be a caring employee and a caring business. So from kind of Alvarez and Marsal, do they have volunteering days? You know, is it that you can call on people, or what is the actual business doing to support it? Because like you say, you've got 101 other things to do with the day job, and this wasn't what you were employed to do originally. So talk about what the company's doing to support that.
Yeah, so the way that Alvarez and Marsal is made up, each kind of business is almost is its own kind of entity. So it does mean that that each kind of team can be very dynamic about what they want to do. So what you'll find, so rather than it being, which is great, because rather than it being a A&M wide CSR behemoth that's going to take months to sort out and have 17 committees and nothing ever gets done ever, we can work within our teams really easily if we want to do something. So within DI, of course, we have a DEI committee, which I'm part of. We have a CSR committee, which I'm part of. But Daniel would be pleased to know I take a back seat. Let others do it. But within those committees, we are committed to helping the Euston Food Bank. So we do we collect food every month. If we ever do any charity quizzes, the money goes to them. We also have volunteer days that we do there as well. Yeah. The other thing that we do, which I love, is that we do internships. So we work with City University, and we have micro placement schemes. So it means that first year university students come and do 3 months with us. But it's normally from places that wouldn't necessarily think that this was an area that they wanted to work in. We also, within our team as well, have we offer work experience anyway. We have 2 different times, both in the Easter and the summer, where we just offer work experience to A-level students as well, should they want it. And we have some people that come through nepotism. I'm fine with that. I never would have got a job ever if it wasn't for nepotism, so I can't be nasty about that. But the other place we're linked with the School of Excellence in Stratford, which is an area that is I'm so sorry, I'm having a complete brain fart, but economically, social economically needs it.
Needs that support.
Brain fart, I'm that age. Need support, exactly. So we give them the opportunity to come in, and we pay them. Okay, we pay them to come in, and they will do a couple of weeks or a week with us as A-level students. And from that's not only one, giving them the idea, oh God, yeah, I can come and work in the city in this big fancy firm and have all their free snacks. It's amazing, but also they keep in touch. So we run because I work in accounting, they have the ACCA, so becoming an accountant qualification. And we had one of our interns, A-level interns, apply to come in and be a grad. And they'd never even thought about it before. I mean, as it was, they got another job somewhere else, and we won't hold it against them. They're lovely. but you know, it's wonderful.
It
That's
works.
wonderful.
It
Yeah,
works, and
exactly.
I love that. I love at the moment we've got a T-level student that kind of came and educated me really last year, and wanted that placement working experience for a whole year, and it's like that's quite a commitment for us as well as for the student. They've taken an apprenticeship, and they're going to be staying with us for a 2-year apprenticeship. So for my sins, we've got another 3 placement students joining this week. So I think having that kind of being able to give back to the community, being able to kind of educate in whatever the kind of sector it is. And I know from the PA Forum, we want to get into schools. We want to be able to talk about the PA roles, the office management, the business support roles, to just get that one nugget of little information that just that actually I could do this, or this is a job that I enjoy doing, then I think it's a win-win, and just keeps championing the kind of profession really.
Absolutely. And I'm only talking about one area, right? I'm only talking about my team. So in other teams, they will have other charities. There's lots around school and mentoring that people do as well. You know, it's really, as I say, ideally, and it's something that we're looking at the moment. We're looking at whether there is room for a wider A&M. But as I said, what's really nice is because it's done within the teams, you can do something that really means something to you. You can work much quicker because you only have the approvals of your MDs rather than the approvals of everyone else. So you get to work much quicker and really, really help. The Multicultural Network did a session with I Can, You Can Too, which is run by a guy that works at EY and worked at EY. And he had a similar situation. He was taking, I think he was mentoring at the time, and forgive me, I am probably getting history wrong, but in essence, he took his mentor to Canary Wharf, and he just said, there's no way that I could ever, a young black guy, he was like, there's no way that I could ever work here unless, of course, I'm a security guard. And it really made him stop. And then he started this entire charity to go, no, I'm not having this. And that's right from school. And it's giving them the confidence. And they came to our session because the leader was, the guy was telling us all about the charity. Oh my God, it was making me cry. You know, they do food parcels. They do, you know, absolutely amazing work with them. And one of the girls who was 17, got up in front of everyone and just talked about what she was doing. I was like, I am pooping myself doing an introduction to this session in front of my peers, and I am 300 years old, probably older than most of the people in the room. And this little 17-year-old, slick as anything, just gets up and tells a story. And it was from a question. Actually, you come up and answer this question. I'm not going to answer it for you. Just amazing confidence to then be able to walk through the door, go, this is my place. I do belong here. It's astounding. It's absolutely astounding. So I'm sidetracked. But I love doing that kind of thing. I love it when we get the kids in. I always describe myself as team mum. I do that anyway to all of my team members. I'm team mum. It means I'll tell you off with my mum voice, and you will get a hug. So, you know, and they absolutely love it. But they always ask about CSR. So I normally do the DEI session, not always, because there's lots of people in my team that do it. And they always have loads of questions. It always runs on longer than the half an hour that we give it.
Yeah. And I think that's because everyone's curious. They want to know more, and they want to know that the company they're coming to work for is responsible and knows what they're doing and what the strategy is that they're going to deliver, and they want to be part of that. So I think you'll have more volunteers, I think, coming along very soon. So just before we kind of wrap up, I think I just wanted to touch on kind of the experience of the West Midlands PA Awards, because I'm sure there's people that are on the call or that are going to listen to kind of the process and be like, I don't think I can self-nominate myself for this, or hopefully there's people that are going to nominate people within their organisations for the CSR Champion of the Year Award. So I just would like to kind of like reflect on your experience and your process, and hopefully just rally and get everyone to kind of champion themselves, to put themselves forward.
Oh no, it was absolutely awful. No one apply, and then I will definitely win. No, I'm joking. I was really, really touched because I was nominated. But do you know what? Screw that. Nominate yourself. Because why not? But if you're doing stuff in this area, you need to say that you're doing well. It was a brilliant process from beginning to end. I was really nervous about the whole thing. I'm not very British. I'm not very good at bigging myself up. But when you do see that list of things, you're like, check me out, look how much I've managed to do. This is amazing. So it's really good for yourself, because so often in our day-to-day roles, what are they going to thank us for? Oh, well done for typing that up. Well done for booking that meeting. You did that brilliantly. You don't get it. It's not that they don't appreciate us. Of course they do. But you don't get that kind of recognition. So it's nice to be able to list it and know that what you're doing is right, is good, and is really, really helping. That in itself, I found a great experience. And then meeting all of you guys, there was no rivalry. Everyone was so lovely. We were just all chatting away beforehand. I nearly missed my train coming home. Believe it or not, I like to chat. No one would have ever guessed. And I nearly missed my train going home because we were chatting so much with everyone there. And then on the night, do you know what? It was so lovely to go there and actually feel special. Sorry, Daniel, you're going to hate me for this bit, but I was a little bit concerned that we were going to be in some basement, everyone. We got into our glad rags and then be like, oh, right, here we go, in the basement of somewhere. Yeah, it's not wilderness, hide away. No, it was not, darlings. We were the main event. And about bloody time, that's what I say. We work in an industry where so often we're the first ones that the people will go, oh yeah, well, we'll just get rid of support staff because we don't need them. The idiots. So often people won't necessarily see all of the good stuff that we do because we won't list it, and it's expected, and they don't know that we've had to make 17 phone calls to get them that hotel that they wanted on that night or whatever. No one really sees it because we're not going to tell them, because that's our job. Yeah, it's our job to make it easier. They don't need to know it took 17 phone calls. That's our job. To have a whole night to not only say you guys are absolutely bloody brilliant, but the work that you do means so much that we are in the grand hall, not in the basement, Dad, we're in the grand hall of this gorgeous hotel somewhere. We deserve to walk through the front door, not the servants' entrance, and straight downstairs. It was just amazing. I felt, and everyone that I went with on my table, I know, you just spent the whole night going, oh, this is amazing. And that was from the first drinks that we had, chatting to everyone, making those connections. I mean, Una, who is the lovely Una, is just the most amazing person at circling a room. I mean, she knows everyone, and two, if she doesn't, it will take her a couple of seconds, and she'll scoop you up with them, and here, meet this person. You really need to meet that. It's just growing your network, tick. Feeling like you are getting the recognition you deserve, tick, 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 tick. Having a flippin' wonderful evening, tick, 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 tick. Just do it. Please do it. I realise I'm making it harder for myself next year. Don't even know if I can apply again. Going to do it anyway, because that's how much I enjoyed it. So yes, please, sod this whole I need someone else to tell me I'm brilliant. Empower yourselves. Just write it down. Just write the list of what you've done. When you see it on the page, you're like, yes, I bloody deserve an award. Yes, I'm going to write this down because I deserve an award. Sorry for the swear. I'm going to write this down and apply. So yes, I would encourage everyone to do it. Just that feeling of recognition, that feeling of worth. It is worth it just for that.
It's interesting what you say, Bethan. I've just watched back the feedback from the East Midlands PA Awards last week, and every single interviewer said, we are the first department that will get taken away. And that's what's really, it's actually really opened my eyes even more. That's how people feel. That's really sad, isn't it, to think that? And that's what we need to continue to change. And that's why having people like you and the people within our community, the people on this call today, the people that watch this back, who who do who do go through the process should all feel incredibly proud, because it is just it's such a positive and uplifting process that ultimately we hope that by the end of it, people's confidence is that actually, no, I shouldn't be the first person that you think about getting rid of in the organization. No, I shouldn't have to try and fight for my job, because it's those things that help build your confidence up. And we absolutely want you to come back next year.
Completely.
Oh, in which case then it was horrible. No one applied.
And I think that's the thing. We've had people sometimes who have gone 3 years and then won in the third year, but it purely is it's just because what Sarah said, it is incredibly difficult.
Oh, luckily the winner was lovely. Otherwise, that would have been it.
And I think it was just that kind of, we only had 15 minutes as part of everyone. I know there's people that are on the awards committee, that they're on the call, that get involved in the interviews, and it is such a difficult process. And you have only that 15 minutes to be able to talk. And everyone that's kind of been on the call today has heard about Bethan and all the activities and the projects and the enthusiasm. And honestly, she spoke like that, but condensed all of that into about 15 minutes. And we were just beaming after the interview, because you're just so positive, and the motivation and the enthusiasm for just everything relating to kind of CSR. So thank you, Bethan, for putting yourself forward. And I really appreciated your time. And
thank you so much, Bethan. It's so lovely for me to spend some time with you as well, because I haven't had chance. I never got to hear any of that either, which was amazing. So thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Thanks so much for everyone watching. Thanks so much for everyone watching back. And Sarah, thank you so much for taking time to go out there and organise all these things for us. It's amazing. So I'm very grateful to you. Thank you so much. And we'll catch up again soon. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks.
See you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Oh, I'm just trying to press, where's the record? Stop recording. There you go.